obviously it's very hard to say what Putin wants. I mean, one of his aims presumably could be just keep fighting until Ukraine runs out of men.
That's certainly the war that they are fighting at the moment, the war of attrition. He has said so many things about Ukraine at so many different times, and those around him have said so many different things. But if you draw a line through them, it would be nice to have him put an explicit limit on them. But even without that, you can get a pretty good idea of what his ideal aim would be. His ideal aim would be to have most of southern Ukraine, all the way to Moldova, between Moldova and Russia, all of the Black Sea coast, basically, and most of eastern Ukraine, up to and including the river Dnieper, as part of Russia, or to have the sort of central areas of Ukraine as very, very closely controlled by Russia. Yeah, I think what he would prefer is a certain part of Ukraine to actually be Russian, to be absorbed into Russia, and not to be Ukraine in any sense anymore. And whatever is left, whether that's just Western Ukraine or whether that's West and Central Ukraine, to be very much under his control, in the same way that Belarus is under his control at the moment, a sort of almost puppet relationship. I mean, you can't say that Lukashenko of Belarus is 100% a puppet. Every now and again, he does make some effort to assert his independence, but he's very much under the Kremlin's thumb. He's under the Kremlin's protection personally. That is the relationship that I think Putin seeks with whatever is left of Ukraine territorially and population-wise after he has cherry-picked the bits that he wants to be part of Russia. So he's still talking about these four regions of Ukraine, plus Crimea, so 5 regions of Ukraine being part of Russia. And that includes areas that he doesn't own at all at the moment, like the city of Zaporozhye, for example, a very large city. So we know he wants that. He still talks about this very, very vague concept of denazification and disarming, and also of having a say in the constitution of Ukraine. So Ukraine must have neutrality enshrined in its constitution. It must have the state status of Russian, the language, enshrined in its constitution. And we will tell you what to write. We will be the inspectors who say whether you disarmed or not. We will be the ones who decide whether you have denazified or not. And of course, you can define who is a Nazi as broadly as you like. And the history of the war so far has been that they define Nazi as anyone who disagrees with Putin. So what he's looking for is a degree of control over the whole of Ukraine, and a territorial gains in Ukraine over and above that which he has already won by force. And that is even before you get to the question of sanctions and the question of who is going to pay for the destruction, the questions of compensation and the return of Russia's frozen assets. So, I think it's important to try and get Russia to be more specific about what it wants. But those are clearly expressed both in action and word what he's after.